When people think of the war in Vietnam, I imagine not many people think about the South Korean involvement, but it is nonetheless something worthy of learning about and exploring, seeing how their country contributed the second highest amount of foreign soldiers into Vietnam, and they were the last to depart. With a total number served between 1965 to 1973 estimated to be somewhere around 300,000 men, for a brief time in 1972, the number of South Korean military personnel on the ground in Vietnam outnumbered that of the USA. Their primary area of operations in Vietnam was guarding the coasts and highways that ran along the military region 2, from Phan Rang up to the port city of Quy Nhon. It was later extended up into Military Region 1 as the war progressed, and the Koreans found themselves working from Phan Rang all the way up Highway 19 into Hoi An, near Da Nang. Their mission was to provide security for ports and roads in the area, in which encompassed many hundreds of miles of road. A role by its nature which was primarily defensive, but the Koreans also often conducted many offensive attacks against the NVA soldiers found near their area. For example, in July 1967, the Koreans launched a preemptive attack on an NVA regiment in Phu Yen province, driving it away from the area and killing 638 enemies. In 1969, the mission for the Koreans shifted to be more focused on pacification, which was something the Koreans did not particularly enjoy, due to a prevalent belief that their job was to pursue the enemy, not win hearts and minds of the people. Koreans would go on to remain in Vietnam until the Paris Peace Accords were settled and the complete withdrawal of Korean soldiers was met. Something interesting to note about the Korean soldiers in the Vietnam War is that after their duty was served, that unlike many American and Australian soldiers, the South Korean soldiers were given many parades and honors for their service in Vietnam, both by the South Korean military and civilian population of South Korea. This war being mostly viewed in a good light as being a continuing fight against the war against communism in Asia, a conflict South Koreans were all too familiar with given their ongoing struggle with their neighbors to the north. To many South Koreans, then and now, communism was an ever real and growing threat to them, their way of life, and everything that they believed in. I very recently had the opportunity to interview several Korean veterans in the Georgia area of the United States. Many Koreans have found themselves moving to Atlanta for job opportunities or be closer to family who have also moved to the United States. Don't forget to check back on this channel to see these several interviews that I have conducted. They should hopefully be completed within the next 2 weeks or less.